What's good? It's your boy Timon here with Under Grace Records, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Man, this video right here is just it's gonna be a summary of just kind of how God has placed me where I'm at today. You know what I'm saying? So if you really got to understand your calling, that's something that God is calling you to himself first. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's trying to reconcile that relationship through his son, Jesus Christ. So in order to really know your purpose, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get to know your creator. So that being said, I'm going to get into all that here in just a second on how I kind of had the confirmation for that through him and through other people. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just going to kind of give y'all a compressed journey of how it kind of went, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to start from the beginning, you know what I'm saying? I was, just to kind of get context and everything like that, I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, man, in 1986, July 17th. And I had 3 older brothers and a younger sister, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I grew up just loving music as it is, you know what I'm saying? So I had older brothers that were always jamming music. I really took a liking into hip hop, you know what I'm saying? But I remember my pops used to be jamming, you know what I'm saying, some soul music whenever he was home on the holidays and stuff like that. He would be jamming the Isley Brothers, Marvin Gaye, the Temptations, just a lot of soul-filled records, you know what I'm saying? Then I got introduced to hip-hop, just always having, you know what I'm saying, just in my neighborhood, and my older brothers were always jamming it, or just anytime I was in the car, you know what I'm saying, the radio was on, and we was, you know, they was jamming the rap station when I was riding with my mom or, you know what I'm saying, my other siblings and stuff like that. But I can vividly remember back in like, I was about 6 or 7 years old, man, and I remember just sitting in the back of my mom's van one day, and it was Dear Mama was on by Tupac. And man, that song would just touch me so much, you know what I'm saying? But I could understand the lyrics real clearly, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, hit me right in my heart. And I remember, I never even thought about doing music or anything like that, but that was the only time in my life where, being that young, you know, a question popped in the back of my mind and just said, you know, what happens if you were able to say something like that that's just powerful, that could affect people emotionally, you know what I'm saying? Because real good music, when it's done right, it can change your emotions, it can, you know what I'm saying, it can make you feel a certain type of way, it can motivate you or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I just vividly remember that track right there playing. I liked a lot of other music too, you know what I'm saying, coming from hip hop, you know what I'm saying, from all of the West Coast, down South, all that, you know what I'm saying, and even some of the East Coast, you know what I'm saying, but mainly the West Coast and the South Side, you know what I'm saying, but yeah, man, I just really I just loved the music, man. I mean, I could just vividly remember just how I just could understand it, man, in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like certain tracks now, you know, whenever you get older, you get a little bit more context and stuff like that. But fast forward a little bit, I would say, you know, just coming up, you know what I'm saying, everybody was jamming music and stuff like that in my neighborhood, man. But around, you know, I would say around freshman in high school, you know, that's when DJ Screw and the Screwed Up Click and everybody in the Houston scene really started to evolve as far as like doing freestyles and stuff like that, you know. And I started to try to engage in that, you know what I'm saying, like just try to, you know what I'm saying, try to mimic what they were doing but in my own way, you know what I'm saying, in my own style. I was just like, let me try this out, let me try to freestyle. And it was actually pretty cool. It actually was just fun, you know what I'm saying. And some cats were like, man, you know what I'm saying, that was pretty tight, man. You know what I'm saying, and you kind of flowing pretty good and this and that, you know what I'm saying. So it was just something that was fun to do. And I just ended up liking it so much. Around the age of 14 or so, I got my own karaoke machine, you know what I'm saying? Me and my brother Beezy would just be making tapes, you know what I'm saying? And cassette tapes and all that. So it was just fun, man, at the end of the day. So, but I noticed that a lot of cats in my neighborhood was just like, they would hear the tapes and be like, man, dog, that right there was fly, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me catch one of them tapes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We about to go ride around and get hot at this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, that was just for fun. But yeah, I'll dub you a copy. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it just seemed like music just wouldn't escape me for some reason, man. Like it just, like my partners in high school, for instance, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to a cat named Arshad and Afro Man, aka Marari, aka Afro Man. You know what I'm saying? Like cats like that, I was kicking it with in high school. I remember Arshad would be telling me, man, like he heard one of the tapes and was just like, dog, you need to start writing. You know what I'm saying? Like you got something. You know what I'm saying? You need to put this on pen and pad. You need to construct your flow. Like he just wouldn't get off on me on it. You know what I'm saying? My other partner, Afro Man, was just like, dog, what are you doing out there trying to chase girls and, you know what I'm saying, BS and getting high and stuff like that, dog? You need to be in the studio, you know what I'm saying? You need to be writing, you need to be, you know what I'm saying, pursuing music. I'm gonna be your manager one day, you know what I'm saying? And I just was just laughing like, yeah, whatever, man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's cool, man. I didn't really care about it as far as like writing anything. I just stayed freestyling and, you know what I'm saying, just doing little tapes in my neighborhood and stuff like that. So it was just like, it was just a hobby, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? And a lot of cats in high school I used to kick it with, you know what I'm saying? A few cats would invite me to their crib. They would have a little karaoke machine too. We used to make tapes, you know what I'm saying? Smoke weed or whatever and just chill, man. I mean, it was just something to always do. But I would say right around the time of, right around that time, I met a partner named Bones, you know what I'm saying? Chad Johnson, AKA Bones, man, RP, bro. He was the first cat that I actually like made a real song at his house, you know what I'm saying? Like he had his own equipment and everything like that. He would, he had it all at his house. So he actually had like a real setup and everything like that. I was introduced to him through another partner of mine that I was kicking it with. And we just like, man, you know, we used to do freestyles over there too, but that was like the first time we actually put together like a real CD, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really write nothing, you know what I'm saying? But it was still like, it was something that was evolving. And he used to always tell me like, dawg, what are you doing, man? Like, you need to come back to the studio, quit playing, man. Like, you need to really start writing and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, man, you know, I'm young, dumb, you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, out there just ripping and running, man. Wasn't really focusing on anything. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. This was never like something that I wanted to do. It was just like, as far as like a job or a career, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have no dreams of like, hey, I want to be an MC one day, you know what I'm saying? So I would say right around the time, man, you know, saying I ended up moving out of Houston right around the age of 17 or so, right after high school. So I had to leave the house early and all that. I was getting into too much trouble, man. I was in and out of juvenile and stuff like that. Throughout my adolescent years, and I caught a case, and I barely made it out of high school, basically. So, and my mom was like, "You got to get up out of here," you know what I'm saying? And I respected that, you know what I'm saying? It was all on me. But I'm saying all that to kind of give you context of where I went to next, you know what I'm saying? Then I went out to Prairie View, you know what I'm saying? And I was about 17, almost going on 18, and I ended up going to school because it was like, it's either you're going to go to school or you going to, just get your own spot or whatever. So I'm like, let me just go to school real quick, man. And I didn't even know what I wanted to do out there, man. I just saw the girls out there and I was like, man, let me try this out. You know what I'm saying? The ratio was like 3-1. So I was like, man, yeah, let me try this out. But in the midst of all that, I met a partner named OC, you know what I'm saying? Thomas O'Malley, you know what I'm saying? AKA, OC. He was a DJ too, but I ended up just, you know what I'm saying? We ended up just kicking it, talking about music and stuff like that. He was really fond to the music and just really loved it, you know what I'm saying? And and we were just kicking it real strong and stuff like that. And I remember he actually he had just a whole bunch of beats and stuff like that at his crib, and I remember kicking it with him at his apartment one night, and I remember him saying like, let's just kick a freestyle and everything like that. So we did, and he was like, man, that was real tight, dog. Like, man, I think you need to just go ahead and write a song real quick, man. Like, let's just write one and let's just see what's up. And I've never really, wasn't even writing nothing, you know what I'm saying? I think I wrote a couple tracks previous to that, but I wrote a 16. I'm like, man, let me just give it my all, man. And I spit it out loud for him, you know what I'm saying? And then he looked at me and he was just like, dawg. Like he looked like he dropped his lips or something like that, like he couldn't believe it. And he was just like, dawg, he wouldn't even let me leave his apartment. He was like, dawg, I got all these beats. Sit down, bro. We about to write to these, man. Let's just make a mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't even know what we were gonna do with it. I didn't even care. It was just like, I just saw like he just was so inspired by it and so like pumped about it. I'm like, it kind of pumped me up. I'm like, man, maybe I am pretty good, man. Like, yeah, I knew I was good, but I was like, not as far as writing anything like that. Overall now, I just think I'm a above average MC, you know what I'm saying, rapper, you know what I'm saying, very necessary for this game. And I got my own way of presenting things, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not all lyrical all the time and all this other stuff, and tongue twisting can go real fast. But besides all that, man, like, we ended up just dropping a mixtape. When we wrote to it, I ended up recording it back in Houston with my partner, Jay Young, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. A lot of these cats I don't really just talk to directly anymore, but, you know what I'm saying, we might barely keep in touch, you know what I'm saying? I see you online and stuff like that, but yeah, shout out to him, man. And he let us record over there at his crib, and he actually showed me kind of how to record and stuff like that in the beginning, just to become an audio engineer. But I'm gonna get to that in just a little bit. But yeah, we recorded a mixtape just for ourselves, man. It was like 8 tracks, man. Just started passing it out around campus and stuff like that. And it was just like, people were just like, man, dog, like that was tight, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of good feedback, man. And I always have a saying of, if your partners ain't jamming it, man, I heard this said by somebody else, but I agree a long time ago. Like, if your partners ain't jamming it, man, you probably need to hang it up. Like, if you really got some, like, people will really be jamming it. Like, they're not gonna just be like, man, you know what I'm saying, whatever, man, you rap. But like, they were actually jamming it. Like, cats were jamming this stuff, like, in their own time. And I'm like, man, I started the peep game. I'm like, man, this is something serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna listen to it and be willing to pay money for it, that makes you a professional in a way. If somebody's gonna pay for your service, you know what I'm saying, that would make you a professional at what you do. You know what I'm saying? I remember OG told me that. So I'm like, yeah, so we dropped that mixtape, been promoting it and stuff like that. And long story short, I'm trying to compress everything and just give y'all the highlights of everything, man. Like, kind of like how I made it to where I'm at right now and what I'm doing and how I do it. But me and OC was just riding around the city of Houston, man, on my side of town on the west side. And we ended up seeing a screw shop that had just opened up called The Shop. Cats from this side of town, from the west side of town, I know y'all would know what I'm talking about. This was right around 05, 06. Yeah, we rode by there, and OC was like, my partner was like, look, we should go in there and try to get our mixtape in there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, why not, man? I pull in there and we go inside, and I see my partner, a cat that I known from back in the day, used to be over there at Bones House and stuff like that. My partner that passed away, called, Chris Dinges, you know what I'm saying? AKA Chris Dirty, or Dirty Chris, you know what I'm saying? He was behind the counter working there. And I just gave him some dap, and I'm like, I didn't even know you was working there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even really know the shop was even there, man. It hadn't been there that long, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I dapped him up, and I'm like, dog, you know, I got this mixtape. let me get this in here, you know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all can sell it or whatever, do something with it. And he's like, yeah, let me check it out, man. Yeah, so after about a few days, we let go by, pass by. We ended up checking back just to kind of see what was up with him. And he just looked at me kind of startled, and he was like, dog, like, you need to join the label. You know what I'm saying? You need to maybe come back through here and record some tracks, man. And he was already with a label that was called Top Flight Records that was running records out of the shop, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the CEO was there and all that, you know what I'm saying? It was just an underground type of thing. And he was like, dog, like, if you're interested, stop by later on tonight and we can do a track, you know what I'm saying? And like, you just need to join this label, man. And you know what I'm saying? You can, you know, you get paid a little bit. They'll pay you under the table, and you know, we print up some mixtapes once we create a project, and you can, whatever you sell, you can just pocket them, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, shoot, I can get, you know what I'm saying, stuff printed up, this and that. And you know, these cats weren't no joke, man. I knew Chris Dirty from back in the day, man. Like, he was always cold on the mic. Like, he was kind of one of the ones that I looked up to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember him putting stuff down over there at Bones House back in the day, that was like, he was already ahead of his time. He was making beats. He was a little bit older than I was, but like, he was just, he was on a professional type of flow. Like, not too many cats around the city on my side of town were even putting it down like him. Yeah, there was a few other cats out there I could name or think of, but I don't know what they up to now, but yeah, he was just one of the coldest, man, and he deserved that spot. But he kind of mentored me up under Top Flight Records, man. Like, I was only I was 18 at this time. Yeah, and like, I really started putting pad to pen for real, like, because we were writing records, you know what I'm saying? And I remember him just kind of taking me under his wing, just like, if I spit something, he'll be like, that was tight, man. Everything was cool on there, man. But think about this last part, how you finish. Have you ever considered doing it this way? Or like, if I'm about to spit something, he'll be like, hey, if I'm spitting too soft on something, he's like, dog, you should have been aggressive on that. You know what I'm saying? I was still learning and involving myself as an artist, you know what I'm saying? And it takes time, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I just really appreciate that. Much love, you know what I'm saying, to Chris out there. But that went on for about probably like a year or so. And it was cool, man. We dropped a couple projects, one that actually hit the block. And one of them that actually hit it for sure, man. We dropped a couple other records. I don't even think they even got released, man, out of there. But yeah, they never did get printed up. But the main one that hit was The Epidemic, you know what I'm saying? Top Flight Records, man. That thing right there really got us a buzz, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were doing secular music at the time, but it really had we started to gain a notoriety and a fan base off that, like, for real. Like, the whole west side of Houston knew us, you know what I'm saying? A lot of cats knew what we were doing and what we were about. And it even gained the attention of a lot of cats who were in the industry, like cats that are around the city, like other artists that used to come in and drop off their music that were strictly in the game for real, out of Houston, you know what I'm saying? Cats that we grew up jamming to were respecting it because they would hear the record or get it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dawg, this is crazy. But yeah, so after that, man, like, well, long story short, man, things kind of fell off with that. The owner, the shop ended up closing down because, you know, some I don't know what was going on. I kind of know what was going on, but you know what I'm saying? It was just some, the shop closed down, man, over some stuff. And so the label ended up breaking up. So we weren't really able to do music like how we were doing. So it was just like, I'm like, man, I still want to do music though, man. You know what I'm saying? I really had a lot of fun over there. A lot of artists used to come through there, record and stuff like that. Different cats would, you know what I'm saying, come and feature on songs. And I just grew a lot as an artist. And I'm like, man, I really want to continue doing music, but I really had no studio to go to. So I'm like, Well, I didn't. Let me back it up a little bit. So I ended up getting incarcerated right around that time. Now that I think about it, I was gonna say how I got my equipment and everything, but I got incarcerated, had to do a small bid in TDC, and I remember my brothers used to be coming to visit me and being like, dog, everybody's jamming that stuff, man. Like they really jamming it. Like we got to continue doing something when you get out. I know we ain't with the label, you know what I'm saying? So we was like, dog, we got to go independent, you know what I'm saying? We gonna do it ourselves. I'm gonna get my own equipment when I get out, this and that. And I ended up doing that. So, and I taught myself how to be my own audio engineer. And just like I said, shout out to Jay Young. He showed me kind of the basics back then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I kind of had some head knowledge on it. And this is right around '07, right around the beginning of '07. So I ended up getting my own label. Me and my brother CeeLo ran it, called Self-Made Records, Raw Dogs Entertainment. And we just hit the block like crazy, man. We dropped like 4 mixtapes over the span of like, I'll say until about 2010. For just a few years, man, we was just working at flea markets, all over the city. We were pushing these records, man, through gas stations, you name it, man, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We used to be just pushing our music everywhere, and cats was jamming it like crazy, man. I was like, I can really, this was kind of around the era when CDs were really still selling, so I'm like, man, you know, I could consider making this a full-time thing, like, if I just really put my mind to it and keep on going, you know what I'm saying? But next, I would say I'm trying to break it all down and try to keep it as compressed as possible, man. But right around that time of 2010, I started to feel a conviction, you know what I'm saying, of how I was doing music, you know what I'm saying, like secular music. Just, it was worldly type of music as far as like, it had truth in it. I might have mentioned God because I believed in God since I was 8 years old. That's when I gave my life to Christ, but didn't surrender to him until I was 25. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still thinking it's okay to kind of play along around in the world. I was still out there in the streets doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And a lot of the stuff I was still living, but I'm like, I still had conviction. And I'm like, man, I got to stop this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get it right, but I'm like, when I start writing about this stuff, I want to live what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I had a conviction, man, through the Holy Spirit. And I remember vividly, this is right around, I was starting to pray about my life, man, and like God, like, what do you really want me to do? Like, because I still firmly believed in him, and I knew he's always been there. And I'm like, Lord, you're going to have to help me, man, because I don't know what I'm doing right now. Like, I need to figure out something, man. Like, what am I supposed to do with this music, this and that? And that was just in my quiet time. And then I was engaged with my wife right now, that I'm married to right now. And she was like, shout out to Jennifer, my baby, you know what I'm saying? And I was just praying about this, you know what I'm saying, in my own time. She didn't even know. And then one day we was in the parking lot and we were just chilling in the car. I think we got out the store or something like that. And she's like, yeah, I got something to tell you. And like, she looked all serious. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And she's just like, babe, like, I don't know what it is, but like, I feel like you're supposed to be doing some like Christian type of music, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some real like Christian music for real, and like non-compromise, like, and you're gonna have to lead the way as far as like the other cats that we were fooling with, that were rapping with me, you know what I'm saying, they were kind of under the label, but you know, that we had, but she's like, babe, you're just gonna have to be that demonstration, you know what I'm saying, be the leader. And I'm like, and she's like, yeah, you're gonna have to, you know, basically just, you know what I'm saying, you need to be doing like Christian rap and really glorifying God. And she just like busted out crying. Like, she started crying when she told me. She's like, I got the chills, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, man, I felt like the Holy Spirit reminded me, like, what have you been praying about? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dawg, and it just hit me. And I'm like, man, I got to do something. And I'm already tuggling with everything in my mind. I'm like, you know, I had weeks to think about it and kind of like it to just set on it and just kind of just, you know, meditate on what she said. And I'm like, I just started to have like a tussle because I'm like, man, I'm making money right now with this stuff. Everybody knows me by Sir Crime, you know what I'm saying? Self-Made Records, Raw Dogs Entertainment. I probably got to change the name. I got to, you know what I'm saying? I got a fan base. What are other people gonna think? Like, I didn't really care what other people were gonna think because I knew that when God was calling me, I'm like, I got to do it for him. I knew deep down inside I was gonna have to make a change. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, it never was all about the money anyway. But I'm like, oh, like this is just what I do. Like I'm just so used to it. I don't know how I'm a change. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up, I was gonna tell my brother about it. You know what I'm saying? CeeLo. I don't know when it was, but maybe like a week later or something like that. I ended up coming to his house, and I'm like, dawg. I mean, I didn't even tell him about what I felt or anything like that. And when I came inside, he was already looking at a video, a Christian video, like a Christian rapper. And he just was looking at the video when I walked in the room, and after he finished watching it, he's like, dawg, I wish we were doing something like this. And I looked at him, I'm like, man, my eyes just got big, and I'm like, dawg, that's what I've been feeling, man, like a conviction. And the Lord was working on him in his own quiet time, or just, I don't know how he was just feeling convicted, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because me and him are a team, you know what I'm saying? We 50-50 on this, you know what I'm saying? And like, we both called to do this. So I really started to see that it's really bigger than me, you know what I'm saying? Like, any gift that God gives you, obviously he wants to use it for his kingdom, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's an automatic part of your calling, you know what I'm saying? If anything that he gives you, he's gonna want to return on that for his kingdom, you know what I'm saying? But our main purpose is to really just worship him no matter what, you know what I'm saying? Like once he calls you to himself. And these gifts that he gives you, he wants us to exalt his name and do his work in the earth that he played out to do since the beginning of time. His word is not gonna come back void. I'm saying all that to encourage somebody too, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then there's specific callings that you won't know until you just come to that point in your life, you know what I'm saying? Like, as you walk with the Lord, he might be like, hey man, I need you to join this ministry, you know, for the kids or whatever it might be. I need you to serve in this food bank at the church, you know, whatever it may be. As you walk with him, you know, he could be calling you to something different in a different season that has nothing to do with your gift, or it might have something to do with your gift. But I knew all this basically around this time, man. Like, and just like I said, we're tugging with it. So I ended up coming out with the name Under Grace Records. That's where Under Grace Records was born, right around 2010, 2011. And that's right around the time I dropped Reality, my first album. It was a Christian album. And even then I was still tugging with it a little bit. I'm like, because I'm like, Lord, you're gonna have to help me with this. Because I don't know how to write Christian rap, man. I used to just rap and just like anything that sounded cool. You know, I'm not really trying to speak to your heart, or not really concerned about like really edifying Christ, you know what I'm saying? Or edifying the body, or just really reaching the lost. So I'm like, I just write down whatever sounds cool and I'm going. Now I got to write it with a purpose. And I'm like, Lord, you calling me to this, man. You're going to have to help me with this because, and I didn't really hear no Christian artists that I really knew of that were really jamming at that time, except for like, my wife ended up getting me an album by Trip Lee called If They Only Knew, I believe. Yeah, his first album. And then she introduced me to Lecrae and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, all right, all of this Christian rap doesn't sound corny, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, it actually got some real substance / skill level. Cause I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I need to do it with a skill level of professionalism, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up on that journey. So I ended up dropping Reality. but I was still tuggling with how I'm gonna do it. Like some songs were positive. I think I rewrote like 3 or 4 tracks, man. I started off trying to do some positive stuff, and I'm like, well, at least I ain't cussing this and that, you know what I'm saying? Because it got to sound fly still. And I felt like the Holy Spirit told me, God was like, so are you just gonna play these people basically? Like, the gospel is what's transformed your life. Not no positive message, not no some feel good rap, man. Nah, the gospel did, and I knew that because the Lord had already been working on my heart, and I'm like, so are you gonna just sell these people out, basically? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, yeah, you right, Lord. And I'm like, yeah, because I want my main purpose is to keep the gospel in these songs, like in somewhat of a fashion. Not every song's gonna be a real spiritual track and all that, you know what I'm saying? But like, my calling is to reach the lost, the people that don't know God, if you hear my music, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I felt like I was called to, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the gospel is just gonna be in there, because I couldn't get people to come to church with me or nothing like that, you know. But but if I say, hey dog, hey, check out this CD, they'll put it in a CD, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna get you that way. I'm gonna put the gospel in that way you can hear it. Faith come by hearing, and hearing of the word of God, you know what I'm saying? So trying to plant some seeds and just do, you know what I'm saying, do what he's calling me to do. So yeah, so I'm still doing Christian hip hop right now, you know what I'm saying? Or I like to call it whatever, faith-based or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't like to be put in a box, because I'm a man of God just writing from my experiences and my testimony, you know what I'm saying? And that could look different in different ways, you know what I'm saying? That could, I could be telling a story, something that's relatable, something that's what's going on out here in these streets, or right there in your face with relationships. Say exactly what's going on so I can be relatable, because I'm a human. I'm not just a spiritual robot, you know what I'm saying? But then be like, point them towards the gospel, you know what I'm saying? And be like, hey, but we could actually do it in a whole different way. Look what he's done for me, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So what? I've been doing it now for like, what? Since 2010, 11. Man, it's been like 14 years of faith-based music, you know what I'm saying? And I'm way more fulfilled right now. And it's just, man, I feel way much more better doing it like this. And it gives me a certain sense of peace just knowing that I'm glorifying God in my music, man, and that I'm pointing others to the cross, man, because that's going to be the only thing that's going to fulfill you and really fulfill your soul, man, and set you free, you know what I'm saying? So that's just a compressed journey, man. I'm trying to see if I'm missing out on anything, man, or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to let you know just where I was at, not where I'm at today, you know what I'm saying? It's like I said, I surrendered everything when I was 25, and music was one of those things. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's still working on my heart on other things, just in general, you know what I'm saying? It's a sanctification process no matter what. But as far as like major things in my life, just being surrendered and having an open hand, like, God, use this, and I want to do it for your kingdom. That's what he's done, and he's been faithful, man. And anybody who's jammed the music or just even hit play on it, or shared the music, man, like, yeah, you have no idea. Like, I really appreciate it, man. Like, I don't take this stuff lightly or for granted, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really appreciate that, man. Like, I was gonna do it no matter what, because God told me to do it, and I have to do it for myself because I love myself. Like, this is part of how I express myself, and my soul I feel better when I do it, because when I write, some of the songs I'm writing is a prayer. Some of the stuff is personal, and it's just like freeing, you know what I'm saying? Part of my therapy, you know what I'm saying? So, but I really appreciate y'all who jammed it or anything like that, man. Like that, man, that really touches me, and it actually encourages me to keep on going, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know I don't respond all the time, or I don't know. I've seen some of the messages and stuff like that, but like, I just don't have time to be, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to be engaged in conversations for so long, because I'm gonna get too tied to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I got a life to live. I got people to love in front of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the stuff I see, a lot of times I can't even get back to it, because I'm like, I ain't got no time to respond, man. But just let you know that I love y'all and I appreciate everything. Like, And if you like this video, man, or if you want to hear something else from me, or have some ideas about some stuff that you would like me to share, like, just let me know down in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Like and subscribe, share this. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it can encourage somebody to live their calling, or what God is calling them to do. And that's pretty much it, man. That wraps up this video. I got a couple other things I know I'm gonna be talking about soon. I just don't know when I'll be able to do it. But love y'all. God bless, man. Peace.